The election of Joe Biden as the next US president signals a shift in US-China relations, which are at their lowest point in decades. The Trump administration waged a trade, technology, and media war against China. Trump has also frequently blasted Beijing for its handling of the coronavirus pandemic and accused China of cover-ups.
China is China, and it came from China, so we had the China virus, right?
But trillions of dollars and global stability depend on the rival superpowers finding common ground wherever possible. Here's what a Biden administration might mean for relations between the world's top two economies. Although Biden has boasted of spending more time with Xi Jinping than any other world leader, his tone hardened during the campaign. He repeatedly called the Chinese president a thug for overseeing human rights abuses in China's western province of Xinjiang.
This is a guy who is a thug who in fact has 1 million Uyghurs in reconstruction camps, meaning concentration camps.
There's no doubt that Biden would be tougher on China than Obama. However, many in diplomatic circles hope he could reopen lines of communication to find pragmatic solutions on trade, the environment, and other issues of mutual concern. Under the Trump administration, relations with American allies have deteriorated. Biden may look to improve those ties to get Beijing to collaborate on issues such as trade practices. China has engaged in economic retaliation against countries like Australia, Canada, and South Korea. Biden will hope to return to a multilateral approach to diplomacy and restore America's role in global governance. Trump launched a trade war in order to reduce America's $345.6 billion trade deficit with China, but it actually grew during his tenure. Biden criticized the trade war during the election, but he might not immediately roll back the tariffs to avoid appearing soft on Beijing. As Democrats and Republicans largely agree on the national security threat posed by Chinese tech firms like Huawei, the Trump administration's process of decoupling will likely continue. The question for Biden is how far. While Trump used human rights as a political tool to attack China, Biden is more likely to take a firm interest in issues like the erosion of political freedoms in semi-autonomous Hong Kong and the arbitrary detention of 1 million Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. At the same time, by reopening lines of diplomatic communication, Biden can help de-escalate tensions in the South China Sea, where the Chinese and US navies have been ramping up military drills. Biden is also expected to reaffirm support for democratic Taiwan, in the face of increasing pressure from Beijing, which considers the self-ruling island its sovereign territory. One key area of collaboration between the US and China is climate change. Biden has promised to rejoin the Paris Agreement on his first day in the White House.
And the battle to save our planet by getting climate under control.
While China remains the world's worst polluter, she is working on rebranding the nation as an environmental champion and has pledged to go carbon neutral by 2060. There are also opportunities to build consensus on issues like coronavirus vaccine development, education, cultural ties, nuclear proliferation, trade and investment. As controlling the coronavirus outbreak at home will be Biden's number one priority, picking fights with Beijing is unlikely to feature high on his agenda.